Welcome to the Narrative Mindset Podcast. If this is your first time tuning in, I would appreciate it if you went back and viewed previous episodes when you get time. I was standing on the deck, wind whipping in my hair, and the smell of salt in the air made my chest tight in a way that was both familiar and unsettling. I saw the horizon stretch like a painted line, perfectly straight, almost dishonest. You would think the ocean could hold more secrets than the sky. But I did this thing where I leaned over the railing and stared anyway, letting the waves slap my hands, letting the cold bite. The sailors moved around me like ghosts with a purpose. Some shouting, some laughing, some just staring at their own shadows. I noticed the way the ropes twisted, the way the sail strained, the way the wood groaned. Peculiar, that even in chaos there's a rhythm you can almost catch if you stop trying too hard. I spotted a bird riding the wind, skimming the crest like it knew something I didn't. I followed it with my eyes, imagining it leading me somewhere, even though I didn't know where. The captain stood near the wheel, his face half in shadow, half in sun. And I could tell he was thinking about something dangerous. The kind of dangerous that doesn't announce itself with horns or flags. Just waits patiently until you notice. I felt a tug of something deep underwater. Not a fish, not a shadow. Something heavier, older, deliberate. You would think I was imagining it, but I didn't. I leaned further over, letting the salt sting my eyes, listening to the subtle pressure in the water against the hull. And then I realized, quietly, that the sea was holding its breath. And so was I. I walked down the gangway toward the lower deck, the boards creaking beneath my boots. You would think the sound would annoy me, but I did this thing where I listened, letting each groan snap sink in like it carried a secret. The men below were busy with nets and barrels, some murmuring prayers, some just muttering to themselves. Peculiar how fear and routine can share the same space without ever colliding. I leaned against a post and watched a coil of rope twist in the hands of a sailor. I thought about knots, how they hold things together and sometimes strangle them instead. I did this thing because I thought it became unbidden. A spark of curiosity in the middle of all the salt and sweat. The smell of tar mixed with brine made me cough. I wiped my eyes and saw the captain's shadow fall over the floorboards, long and steady. You would think a shadow was harmless, but in this light, it felt like judgment. I glanced at him. He glanced back. And for a moment, there was a silent acknowledgement. Danger moved slow but deliberate. I felt the ship tilt slightly as a wave hit the side. Not enough to throw me, just enough to remind me we were guests on something older and larger than us. I did this, held on tight, and thought about how every sailor feels the way at some point, small, insignificant, noticing everything that could break them, imagining it might. And somewhere beneath the deck, I swore I heard a pulse. Not the ship's engines, not the creak of wood, but a heartbeat, slow, patient, waiting. I didn't move. I just listened. I climbed back to the deck, the wind sharper now, cutting at my face like it wanted to remind me I was alive. I did this, squinted against the spray, and saw the horizon ripple like it was breathing. Peculiar that the ocean could look so calm from afar, and yet every wave had teeth. If you get close enough, you would think that the water is harmless until it proves otherwise. A whale spouted in the distance. I didn't point it out, I just stared, letting the mist kiss my cheeks. I thought about its size, its quiet power, the way it could disappear beneath the surface and take entire stories with it. I did this because it fascinated me. The thought of something so massive moving unseen, unbothered by the smallness of human ambition. The sailors below were shouting, pulling lines, hauling in something I couldn't see. I leaned over the rail and noticed the way their muscles moved, how precise and unthinking some actions become when survival is involved. I did this too. Watched without touching, letting the rhythm of labor sink into my bones. The captain's voice cut through the wind, sharp and deliberate. I caught a few words, half commands, half warnings, and felt my stomach tighten. You would think his authority would make me nervous. But I did this thing where I felt more alive listening to it, more aware of every movement I made, every breath I took. And then I saw it, a shadow beneath the surface, darker than the rest, moving against the current with purpose. Not a fish, something deliberate. My chest tightened. I did this, held my place, didn't shout, didn't move. Just let it pass and watched it decide whether it wanted to be noticed. I stayed on deck as the day stretched its light thin, the sun melting towards the horizon. I did this, leaned against the railing, letting the wind tug at my coat, and noticed the way the water shimmered, restless, secretive. Peculiar how it could look peaceful and threatening at the same time. You would think I'd get used to it after days at sea, but I didn't. A sailor passed by, humming a tune that didn't match the mood of the ocean at all. I watched him, thinking about how small gestures hold stories no one asked about. I did this because I wanted to remember that even in the vastness, human presence leaves traces. The captain's figure moved against the deck's shadow, steady and deliberate. I caught his gaze and felt a quiet tension, like a taut rope ready to snap. You would think he was just another man, but I did this. Notice the way he carried authority, like it was a living thing, breathing and calculating with every step. Off in the distance, a dark fin cut through the surface. I saw it and didn't point it out. I did this, kept it to myself, letting the moment stretch longer than usual. Peculiar that silence can speak louder than any shout. And the men below, busy with their task, didn't see it yet. I felt the pull of something deeper. Beneath the waves, patient and deliberate. You would think patience belongs to humans. But I did this. Understood that the ocean has its own timeline, and our urgency is almost laughable against it. Never felt like a velvet curtain, and the stars came out one by one, cold and sharp. I did this. Leaned on the railing again, and noticed how small the ship felt under that sky. Peculiar that something so large and alive could seem fragile against the vastness above. You would think the sea is endless, but I did this. Measured it in shadows and reflected light, letting the ocean decide its own borders. A well breached in the distance. I saw the spray, the sudden arc of its back, and it didn't breathe for a moment. I did this because I wanted to remember the weight of being a witness. The way a creature so massive can make you question your own scale. Below deck, the sailors moved quietly now, tired but focused. I noticed the creak of the boards beneath them, the way their shadows slid across the walls. Peculiar how human life carries rhythm, even in exhaustion. You would think fatigue dulls everything, but I did this. Let it remind me that persistence lives in small acts. The captain appeared at the helm, his eyes tracing something I could not see. I watched, feeling the quiet pulse of authority, patient and inevitable. I did this, allowed it to anchor me without speaking, without needing to intervene. The ocean whispered around the hull, waves pressing lightly against the wood. I felt his weight, his patience. You would think the water moves without intent. And I did this. Sensed deliberation beneath the surface and let it teach me silence. The morning came slow, the sun barely pushing through a gray veil of clouds. I did this. Leaned over the railing and let the cold bite at my face, and noticed the way water reflected everything unevenly, like a half-forgotten dream. Peculiar that reflection could lie without intent. You would think that mirrors are honest, but I did this. Watch the waves bend reality anyway. The sailors worked quietly, hauling ropes, adjusting sails. I noticed the precision in their hands, the almost unconscious repetition. You would think that routine numbs the soul. But I did this, admired it. Because in the monotony, there's life. Stubborn and stubbornly beautiful. I saw the captain move along the deck, inspecting lines, his shadow stretching long and thin in the morning light. I did this. Let the weight of his presence settle over me. Neither oppresses nor comforting, just real. Peculiar how authority can feel like air, present, invisible, necessary. Off in the distance, a dark shape lingered under the waves. I didn't speak. I did this. Kept quiet and watched it shift, waiting, patient, deliberate. You would think water is passive. But I did this. Felt its pulse, slow and internal, and realized it was alive in its own way. The wind picked up, tugging at sails, tugging at thoughts, tugging at the edge of something I couldn't name. I did this, held fast, and let it remind me that the ocean doesn't hurry. It waits. The afternoon stretched long and thin, the sun high but pale, spilling light over everything like a faded memory. I did this, leaned against the mast and listened, and noticed the rhythm of the waves against the hull, each one a soft but persistent beat. Peculiar how repetition can feel like conversation. You would think the ocean only moves, but I did this. Heard it speaking anyway. A whale spouted far off, a column of mist rising and falling. I didn't point it out. I did this. Watched it quietly, letting the enormity of the creature fill the space around me without interruption. The sailors were busy with tasks that seemed endless. Faces serious and hands steady. Peculiar how work can occupy a mind completely. You would think it numbs feeling, but I did this. Noticed they were carried, focused, like armor. The captain stood at the helm, eyes scanning the horizon. I did this, followed his gaze, and felt the quiet weight of intention. You would think purpose is something abstract, but I did this. Sensed it in his every moment and his every movement. Deliberate, inevitable. The sea shifted beneath the ship, a slow swell that made the wood groan. I leaned into it, steadying myself. Peculiar how the world can move, and you must adjust or be undone. You would think balance is easy, but I did this. Measured it in instinct, letting every motion teach me patience. The evening came like a sigh, the light softening, shadows stretching across the deck. I did this, stood at the railing, letting the chill creep into my sleeves, and noticed the way the horizon blurred, how the line between the sky and the sea was almost dishonest. Peculiar that the same ocean could feel infinite and confined at once. You would think distance clarifies, but I did this. Let it confuse me instead. A sailor passed, humming quietly under his breath. I noticed the rhythm, how it didn't match the sway of the ship, but somehow fit anyway. Peculiar that life adapts without planning. You would think disorder breaks things, but I did this. Let it remind me that movement itself is resilience. The captain's shadow fell across the deck again, long and solid. I followed it with my eyes. I did this, letting the presence anchor me without touching or asking, just absorbing the unspoken intent. Peculiar how authority can exist silently. You would think it shouts, but I did this, understood it in quiet observation. A dark shape passed beneath the water, near the hull. I didn't speak. I did this. Watch it slip by, slow, deliberate, indifferent to my noticing. Peculiar that power can exist without malice. You would think the ocean is indifferent, but I did this. Realize it holds its own agenda, patient and exacting. Night fell heavy, the stars sharp above, and the sea darker than ink. I did this, leaned against the rail and breathed in the salt, letting it sting, and noticed how small the ship felt against the vastness. Peculiar how scale shifts when you remember the world is bigger than yourself. You would think that humbles you, but I did this. Let it sharpen me instead. A whale's spout rose far off, silent except for the mist. I didn't point it out. I did this. Watched it alone, letting its presence fill the space in a way that demanded quiet. Peculiar that watching can feel like learning. You would think the ocean is static, but I did this. Understood its motion carries purpose. The sailors moved with a slow efficiency, hauling lines, adjusting sails. I noticed the precision, the way hands repeated motions until instinct took over. Peculiar that survival is practice in disguise. You would think repetition dulls thought, but I did this. Let it remind me that focus is alive. The captain's figure was steady at the helm. I did this, followed his movements, feeling the weight of command, deliberate and deliberate again. Peculiar how presence can direct without words. You would think voice is needed, but I did this. Let observation replace instruction. Beneath the hull, the ocean pulsed, slow and steady. I did this. Felt its pull and let it anchor me in patience. Peculiar that power is quiet sometimes. You would think it must roar, but I did this. Learned it whispers instead. The horizon glowed faintly, a thin line of light struggling against the dark. I did this. Leaned over the rail, letting the chill of the night wash over me, and noticed how the water shimmered faintly, restless. Peculiar that darkness can feel alive. You would think stillness is empty, but I did this. Let it hold presence instead. The sailors moved quietly, shadows bending with the sway of the deck. I watched their motions, precise and unthinking, like the rhythm of the ocean itself. Peculiar that repetition can carry meaning. You would think fatigue numbs thought, but I did this. Learn to focus is a kind of life. The captain's shadow moved against the faint horizon, deliberate and steady. I did this, followed it with my gaze, feeling the quiet pull of intention. Peculiar that command does not need shouting. You would think authority demands noise, but I did this. Understood it in patience. Beneath the waves, a dark mass moved, deliberate and patient. I did this. Watched it slip by, sensing a rhythm older than any sailor, any ship. Peculiar that patience can feel like presence. You would think the ocean is passive, but I did this. Realize it teaches you through silence. The night held us all in its sway, and I did this. Breathe with it, letting the vastness remind me of the weight and scale of everything. Peculiar that sometimes something so immense can make you feel both small and alive. Dawn came slowly, pale and hesitant, brushing the horizon with a faint wash of light. I did this, leaned on the railing, letting the cool breeze cut at my face. And I noticed how the waves caught the first glimmers of color, restless, deliberate. Peculiar that even beginnings can feel heavy. You would think light makes things clear, but I did this. Let it teach patience instead. The sailors moved quietly, each absorbed in tasks that seemed endless but necessary. I watched them, noticing the rhythm in their hands, the focus in their eyes. Peculiar that work can carry life, even in monotony. You would think routine dulls sensation, but I did this. Let it sharpen awareness. The captain stood at the helm, steady, deliberate, his gaze tracing lines I could not see. I did this, followed silently, feeling the pull of purpose, patient and unyielding. Peculiar that authority can feel like air, present yet invisible. Beneath the hull, the dark pulse of the ocean moved slow and exacting. I did this, felt its weight in my chest, patient, deliberate, and different. You would think its power is violent, but I did this, understood its whispers instead. And I realized quietly, as the sun rose fully over the water, that the journey is less about reaching or conquering, and more about being present with the pull and weight of the world, letting it teach, letting it wait, letting it pass. Peculiar, yes, but alive. You would think survival is a story, but I did this. Understood presence is the truth. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Narrative Mindset Podcast.